Welcome to another video by Pharos Technology. Today we want to talk about testing and debugging, the tools that are available for testing in particular of your VBA code. So let's get started. Access gives you a testing function called debug.assert, and we're going to go ahead and use that on this particular code here. Now this code does have an error in it, and we'll find that as we go on, and we'll show you how debug.assert helps us to find that particular error. So what this code does is we're looking at a discount threshold as being 10,000. We're looking at the discount being 10%, 0.1 here, and we're going to then say that a customer can get a discount if they're just labeled as a discount customer. We have an invoice total that's over 10,000 or equal to 10,000 that gets a discount, or if the date is the last day of the month, there's a 10% discount. So here we have the if then else type of layout here that's saying if invoice total greater than equal to this, get a discount. Okay, fine. If is discount customer, notice this is a function, and we're sending the customer ID to another function to determine if that's a discount customer. And we'll show you that function here in a minute. If so, if that returns true, then invoice total equals default discount again. Else, if it's the last day of the month, we send the date of the invoice to this particular function to find out if this invoice date is the last day of the month, and if so, they get a discount. Okay, so at the end, C return this value that's being calculated here in all of the if then else statements. The C return then gets assigned to the function value and returned by the function. Okay, so let's take a look at that first discount customer function here. So is discount customer, you pass the customer ID, we're going to open a record set. This record set, then we're going to open and basically set this SQL to get this gets discount value from a table and return whether that gets discount, which is a true false field, whether or not that field value is true or false. So it's only going to match the customer ID and send back the value. This one's really simple. Shouldn't be a real problem with this one. The next one, and you'll notice that it takes it out of this table, and the gets discount field here is just a true false checkbox. Okay, so that's all we're trying to retrieve from that table. Okay, so moving on. The is last day of month. So is last day of month, we're going to pass the date here, the date DT date here. We're going to say is the last day of month equal DT date equal date serial. We're going to then say whether this date is the last day of the month. If that evaluates to true, it's going to send back a true because we're going to send back a Boolean value. Or if DD date is not equal to the last day of the month calculated with date serial, then we're going to pass a false back. Okay, so let's see how debug.assert gets put into a test set of code here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up three arrays here. We're going to have a customer array, a total invoice array, and a date array. And then we're going to dimension I, J, and K as our three array variables for the loop. And then we're going to set VA customer array as this customer ID and that customer ID. Now, this is deliberately set up so that this customer here is one that gets a discount. This customer is one that doesn't get a discount. So if we look at the table, we see that here's the two customers at the top of our table. One gets a discount and the next one doesn't. Then the next one's really easy to see. The 10,000 gets a discount, the 9999 does not. And this date is the last day of the month, and this date is not the last day of the month. So we would expect that when we go through this loop here, that we look at the C discount, pass those variables to the function invoice discount amount, and when we pass these variables here, we're going to pass all 6 of these eventually, we would then determine that C discount gets a discount or not. Now the whole point here then is that the only variable that does not get a discount is the upper bound of all 3. Remember, ANATR and 9999 and this 2019 are the only 3 items in the list that do not get discounts. And it's only when all 3 of those exist that a discount is not to be applied. So we're going to say if all the upper bound here, the discount should be 0. And what it'll do is in debug.assert, it says if cDiscount is not 0 in this case, then it'll stop here. It'll just stop execution. Since this is the only case that it errors out, everything else should drop down to here, and the cDiscount should appropriately be 0.1, which is the total of j times 0.1. Okay, and then it ends through the loop. So that's our test function. And so now what we want to do is see how that test function executes the first time. So we go ahead and run it. And the first thing it does is it stops on debug.assert cDiscount. So something's not getting a discount that should get a discount. In other words, cDiscount's equaling 0, and it shouldn't be equaling 0. So we're going to stop the code there. And what I want to do is I want to put a debug.print command in there so that it prints out what the values are as it goes through the loops and hits there. Now, the immediate window almost immediately puts down the values there, and we'll examine those here in a minute. And here's what the data is. Now, this last one here is the problem. Of course, the other 2 passed muster. The only one that stopped was, of course, the last time that it went through the loop. There should be at least 8 times through the loop, but the 7th one hit an error here with the debug.insert at this total. So let's go look at why. Now, it appears as though ANATR should not get a discount. 999 should not get a discount, but 131 is the last day of the month, and it should get a discount. So it appears as though our date function is not throwing back the proper value. So we can go take a look at that. So the syntax of date serial is that it passes a year and a month and a day. Now, the nice thing about date serial is that the first day of the month gives it a 1 as far as the month goes, the day of the month goes. And so you can pass whatever year, a month, and day 1, it gives you the first day of that month. The nice thing about it, though, is if you pass a 0 in with the day, it gives you the last day of the previous month. So that is the trick we're trying to employ here. Let's see how effectively we employed that. So what we did was we said in the code, is last day of month, date serial just passed the year, passed the month, and passed a 0. Well, that would give us the day of the previous month. So when we passed 12/31, when we passed 1/31/2019, what ended up happening is it came back with 12/31/2018, which of course wasn't equal to the last day of the month we were looking for. So 131 did not equal to 12/31/2018, and the function returned a false. Okay, we need to go ahead and fix that. So let's go fix that and see if it resolves the issue. So as we look at this, we'll go ahead and go up here to that function, and we'll just put a +1 in there. In other words, we want to advance from the current month, where it is the last day of the month, to the next month, and then we're going to pass a 0 in for the day, and we should get back the same value. If it's the same value, it'll pass back a true. And so that gave us the data there. It shows the last value is 0. It looks a lot like what we did before. So let's do a comparison real quick on that. So the old data had these 7 values, and ANATR 9999 131 gave 0 discount. And that was determined by debug.assert as being wrong. So that same value now is here, and now it did receive a discount. And the last value we passed to it, ANATR, not a discount customer, 9999, not a discount amount, and 21, not the last day of the month, it rightly gets a 0 here. And it looks like we have debugged and fixed our problem. So debug.assert helped us to find where that error was occurring, and through the value of using debug.print to throw that in the immediate window, we were able to see it, find it, look at the date serial, see where we made the mistake in the date serial function, and then fix the error. So if you were able to get some good information out of this video, please hit that like button. Let's get it out to other people who might find value in it as well. And hopefully you'll subscribe to the channel and be with us to see many more videos that we plan on creating in the future. Thanks for coming. Bye.